Okay, now we're going to talk about your guardian angels. And we'll go over to this left hand. The left hand shows who your guardian angels are, and the right hand will show if you've had visits or any kind of intervention from your guardian angels. And how that works is you have little lines that come up and they touch on this lifeline right here. And you have a timeline that goes down around this lifeline. Let's get that up in the middle there so we can see it. That lifeline starts in between the thumb and index finger here. And as we travel down around, this is about age 10 right here. And then as we travel down that lifeline, we draw an imaginary line right here between that index and middle finger. And where that crosses is right around age 20, 21. Then as we go down, that's your 20s. And then your 30s, we draw an imaginary line across here. That's right around age 30 years old there. And then as that line comes down, when that kind of breaks and moves down around that thumb, that's right around age 39, 40 right there. So this is your 40s. And then you get into your 50s here. Right on the edge there is around age 56. And then as that line moves up around the side and back of your hand, that's your 60s, 70s, and 80s. And let's see here. Let me pull up that timeline chart. You can see, so you have a reference right there, age 10. And then we come down with that imaginary line, age 21, age 30. And then as that breaks, you get into your 40s and 50s, and then around the back side of your hand is into your 60s, 70s, and 80s. So as we take a look at that lifeline, your guardian angel lines will be lines that come up and they touch. They run kind of parallel to that lifeline, and they'll come up and they'll touch on that lifeline. Now where they touch, that designates the passing of a loved one. And it shows what age you were when they passed. So let's say that you had a grandpa or grandma, anybody that cares about you and knows about you. Let's say you had one pass around age 12. And where that line comes up and touches, then you'll have another little intersecting line that shows where that line, where those three lines converge. Okay. Let's expand that up there so we can see a little better. So starting here on the edge of the hand is age 10. And we're going to look at, let's see here. We've got a couple of lines that are coming up here. A couple, 3 lines. So we go from age 10, 11, 12, 13. You've got a little line that comes up here, and then you see that little intersecting line. So whoever passed away when you were 13 years old, and this could be parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, cousins, uncles, aunties. It could be close friends, like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or children. If you have children that pass away, these are always, they always become your guardian angel. So right there around age 13, let's check that again. 10, 11, 12, yep, right around age 13, 14 years old. Then it looks like you've got another line there at around age 14 or 15. Let's see, that's that line there. Then we go 15, 16, 17. Whoops. Come down here, that's right around age 21. So you've got another line that comes up here. That looks like that's right there at around age 17 or 18. And then we have another line that comes up. Looks like it hits right about there. That's right there around age 19 or 20. Then let's take a look here as we come down. And this image is just a little bit grainy still. It looks like you have another line that comes up here in your early to mid 20s. Another guardian angel. And that's how old you were when that loved one passed away. Let's go down here a little farther. We don't see any other little lines there. And then is where that breaks. You want to look at these lines underneath. So right there in your late 30s, early 40s, you've got a couple of guardian angel lines also. And that's as far as we go. We don't go past the age you are now on those lines. So that's how you figure out who your guardian angels are. All right, let's move over to the right-hand image. And we're going to look to see if you've had any guardian angel interventions or protection from them. And this is anything that's happened in your life. Let's say that you were in an accident or something, you survived, and you come out unscathed. Or if you've had a manifestation of a guardian angel, that you've seen them in dreams, or actually if you've actually had a direct contact with them, and they've come to warn you about a situation in the future. Or if they just are kind of hanging around and protecting you. And we look at this same timeline around that lifeline, age 10, and then we come down here, age 20, 21, and then in your 20s and 30s and down around. And let's take a look here. It looks like you've got a guardian angel line that comes up and touches right here. So that'd be 10, 11, 12, probably around age 13. And you had one on your other hand that was around that age. And then 14, 15, 16, 17, you've got a very strong guardian angel line there. Do you remember a guardian angel interaction around that age? And then we come down here, and you've got another little line right here. It's really faint. Comes up and touches right there. Now on this hand, you won't have that to intersect that third intersecting line. Let's come down here and see. So right around, that's around age 20. You got a really faint line there. They're in your late teens, early 20s. Then as we move down a little farther down this lifeline, and then we see another little intervention there in your late 30s, early 40s. And I'll tell you, we've been really accurate on these guardian angel lines. There was, if you don't mind, I'll tell you a little story. Kat was out at this little store out in Lava Hot Springs, Idaho, and she was reading the palm of a little older gentleman who was probably in his 50s or 60s. And he was telling the story about how when he was 40 years old, he was sitting at home and he was reading the paper, and then he got this strange feeling. He looked up on the mantle where he had a picture of his portrait, actually, of his deceased wife. And then he hears this voice in his head and says, "Go out and find your daughter." And his 16-year-old daughter had gone out to a high school football game, and she was late getting home. So he's getting a little concerned. And then the voice, again and very loudly, stated, "Go out and find your daughter." And this really grabbed his attention. So he called up his sister, and they went all over town looking for his daughter. And they finally ended up and were guided to this little mom and pop restaurant. And when they got there, they could see that there was a commotion out back, and they went out there, and his daughter was out there kind of crying, and there were some bikers that were riding around her, and they were harassing her. Well, good old Pop ran them off, and she tells the story about how she had gone in and was looking for the restroom, and she got out back somehow and got lost and got tangled up with these guys. Well, she was sitting right next to him as Kat was reading this gentleman's hand, and she says, let me look at your hand here." And as she looked at her hand, she could see a guardian angel line that came up right there at age 16. And her dad had one right there at age 40. So the lines actually showed at the same timeline. Isn't that interesting? We're actually going to publish a book with all those guardian angel stories. We've got hundreds of those guardian angel stories. So these lines are very, very accurate.